Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to share with you how much dividend income I made this week from high yield ETFs, and I'm also going to share with you how much I made for the month of May investing in high yield ETFs, REITs, and BDCs. But before I get into the video, please smash that like button so the algorithm gods know that I'm here, and hit subscribe if you're new so you know whenever I go live where I talk about finance news, stocks, and investing, or I publish a new video like the one you're watching. With that out of the way, guys, let's get into the video. So we're going to start off with the Robinhood portfolio, and I'm just going to kind of breeze through all of my holdings here. All right, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I know your guys' time is very valuable. All right, so for PLTW, which is a Palantir weekly pay ETF from Roundhill, I have 700 shares. I also have NVW, which is a NVIDIA weekly pay ETF from Roundhill. I have 700 shares of that. 200 shares of CHPY, which is from YieldMax. It is a semiconductor ETF. I'm very bullish on the semiconductor space. And we have xpAY. I have 1,200 shares. This is a Target 20 S&P 500 managed distribution ETF. They basically aim to pay out 20% a year in annual dividend income, right? So this is a really cool ETF. I really do like it. We also have XDTE, which is a 0 DTE S&P 500 cover call ETF. All right, this is a big bulk of my portfolio. So let's take a look. I know you guys see $103,000, but this is actually a little bit more, okay? If we scroll down, we can see I'm using $98,000 worth of margin. And I do have a high margin buffer of $43,000. So I'd have to see an account drawdown of $43,000 before I would reach what is known as a margin call. So I have about 42% in safety, right? This is a really good thing. And the way you achieve this is by investing in low maintenance ratio investments, okay? This is how you achieve a better margin status, right? There's a lot of people out there who also are recommending you always stick with the indexes as a anchor in your portfolio, okay? So I have a whole video series on this stuff. You guys can look at my previous videos if you're interested in how I use margin, all right? All right, so with that out of the way, guys, let's move into a little bit more about this portfolio. You guys can see here, I have $102,000 worth of equity with $98,000 of margin in use, okay? Now, for the dividend income, all right, I'm just gonna show you guys what I've made, but at the end of this video, I'm gonna tally it all up for you guys. So you guys, I don't really do the whole spreadsheet thing because you guys wouldn't even be able to see it. All right, but these are all the dividends. If you guys want to stop the video and kind of take a screenshot, if you'd like, or if you guys want to just check it out, these do all pay weekly with the exception of xpAY. All right, xpAY does not pay weekly, but PLTW does, NVW does, CHPY, and XDTE. All right, so those are my weekly payers. Now, moving on to M1 Finance, all right? I hold a huge portfolio here. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into the weeds in this one, all right? But you guys can see that I got paid some dividends for May. So I'm going to cover this all at the very end. But if you guys want to stop the video to see where I got my dividend income from, I got it from Sun Communities. I did a video on them. They had a special dividend, so this is why their dividend payout is so high. I also got some dividends from Gain, from Main Street Capital Corporation, from Realty Income, from Triple N, and from ADC, right? So got a lot of dividend income coming from different sources. This is primarily the real estate and BDCs, okay? If you guys want to see the portfolio real quick, here is the portfolio just at a very high level. All right, I have about $188,000 in REITs. I am a big real estate fan. I do like the space. I do like the sector. So I'm invested in several different types of REITs. I also own a very large technology ETF, the Vanguard Technology ETF VGT, if you're interested in checking that out. I also own a bunch of BDCs, but I don't cover the BDCs as much on this channel just because I don't really put too much money into them. And then, of course, what portfolio would be complete without a crypto slice? And for me, I have a crypto ETF to Bitcoin, which is the iShares Bitcoin Trust, ticker IBIT. All right, now let's look at the individual holdings here. We have the NVIDIA weekly pay ETF from Roundhill. You guys can check this out. This is a 120% exposed ETF to NVIDIA's movements, and it provides a distribution income. Right now, it's at 30%, but the payouts and the distributions fluctuate from week to week, so always keep that in mind. I also have one for Palantir, as I said. Then we also have XDTE here, all right, 31% distribution rate, which is really, really nice. And we have the xpAY, all right, which is maintaining a 20 to 22% distribution rate. This one always pays at the end of the month. And then, of course, we have our CHPY, the Yield Max Semiconductor Portfolio Option Income ETF. This one I am very bullish on, again, because I'm very bullish on the technology sector, but more so the semiconductor space. All right. I think there is a lot of opportunity in this space. And I like how this particular ETF is the only one on market, the only product available that does an income plus cover call solution all in one box, right? So this is the CHPY ETF. You guys can check this out if you're interested. All right. Okay, so let's tally everything up and see how much I made for the week. All right, so let me scroll back up and then pull over this really high-speed notepad. All right, so for the week, I was paid $478 by PLTW. NVW paid me $345. XDTE paid me out $311, and then CHPY paid me out $77. And then for the month, the REITs and BDCs, they paid me out $402, all right, for a total of $1,614, right? Really, really exciting. Now, to scroll down, because I want to show you guys how much I've been making, week to week. The first week, I made $1,400 or $1,441 using high yield ETFs. And then the second week, I made $2,364. And then for the third week, it was $913. Now, week number 2, the reason why that one's higher than all of the other ones is because XPAY pays out that date. All right, so just keep that in mind. Again, it's a monthly payer, and it paid out in the second week. And I also own, XDTE and the other ones, and they pay out weekly. All right, so for week number 4, I made $1,211. So this has been steadily increasing month over month, week over week. So it's really, really cool. Now for the high yield ETFs, all right, this is just for the high yield ETFs. For March, I made $3,925. For April, I made $4,827, which was a $902 increase. And then for the month of May, just for the high yield ETFs, I made $5,929, which was a $1,102 increase. What I like to do with the high yield ETF stuff is I like to reinvest a lot of those dividends back into the portfolio. I don't take anything really out. I like to invest in opportunities I see. So if there's a dip for PLTW or NVW, XDTE or CHPY or even xpAY, I will take advantage of that. Or if I want to use the money to start a new position, I can absolutely do that. It allows for that flexibility, right? So I really, really like this portfolio. The space is very exciting. High yield ETFs is definitely just, it is unbelievable how much dividend income that these ETFs can provide. Of course, this is not free money. There are risks inherent, for one of which we don't know how long these will be around or how mature the industry is. It seems like there's plenty of new ETF offerings coming out every other week, from all these fund managers vying for your money. And us as investors, we get to benefit from this because we have such a huge a huge amount of ETFs that we can choose from, and they all have different strategies for different underliers. They all try to accomplish different things, whether it's income and appreciation or strictly high yield income, or maybe it's an appreciation with a modest amount of income. There's so many different products on this market, and it is fascinating to see this industry, to see this, sector grow, over time. So let me get off my spiel and let me get off my high horse. So that is pretty much it. If you guys want to follow the journey, you guys can check out my channel, go to the playlist, and you can look for the weekly high yield portfolio updates if you want to follow along for the journey. All right. But other than that, guys, that'll do it for this portfolio update. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys got some type of value, or at least you're enjoying the journey, right? I do appreciate your guys' support. All right. Look forward to your comments. Would you guys change anything? Would you guys add anything? Are you all just in high yield ETFs, or do you also invest in those boring blue chip stocks and REITs and BDCs? I like having an M1 Finance portfolio of more, traditional assets, more traditional dividend paying stocks, because I like to be a little more diversified. So, for what it's worth, that is why I have the portfolios set up the way that they're set up. So hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you in the next video. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Take care.